Okay, number 1. You have 5 shoes, 6 pants, 8 shirts. How many different outfits are possible if you have to have one of each? So this is going to be that I have to choose one shoe. I have 5 shoes and I have to choose one of them. And, so I'm going to what? Add or multiply when I say the word and. And I'm going to have to choose a pair of pants. And I'm going to have to choose a shirt. Okay? That's a way of thinking about it. Or you could just say, well, how many options of each? Because this is just 5, 6, and 8. Okay, so 240. That's how many different outfits you can have. Okay, how many arrangements can you have if you have all the letters from Peacekeeper? Okay, so when you're arranging letters, we are going to do factorials because you can move all those letters around. How many letters can we be moving around? Did you get 11 different letters?
Yeah.
11. So we're going to move 11 letters around. But this is like when I talked about dad and then moving those letters is another arrangement. But it looks the same. So we're going to cancel it. So we're going to cancel the arrangements that would be the same. So how many E's do I see here? 5 E's? Right? P? There's a couple P's in there, I think. Is there any other ones? C, A, K? No? Anybody else find a repeat? That's it? Okay, so I'm going to cancel those because, yeah, they were a different arrangement, but they don't look any different to you. Okay, number 3, you're choosing a committee of 4 people from a group of 13. How many committees could you form? So I'm going to do a 13 and a 4, and then you have to think about which letter you want to put in there. So is it a C or is it a P? How do I know? So I'm asking you, do you care about the order of these people? Or do you just care about the groupings, the different groupings? The answer would be a C. Okay. Explain the difference between a permutation and a combination. Well, a permutation, your order matters. Like arrangements. So the objects can get arranged differently. So how many different arrangements? Combination, the order doesn't matter. I'm more worried about the number of groupings. What are the groupings I could have, not the arrangements of the objects in the group? So I often give an example like this. You have 10 people in a race and 3 people get medals. So if I'm asking you how many different groups of people you could invite to the podium, then it's 10 choose 3. And if I ask you how many different ways you could hand out medals, then you're going to 10p3. Because when you hand out medals, somebody could get bronze, silver, gold, and then you could switch those medals around yet. Okay, there's 18 desks, 12 students. How many ways can they be arranged in the classroom? So 18 and a 12. What letter would you want to put in there? So your questions are, do you want a C or a P? So are you worried about the order or not? Yes. So I'm arranging. So that's a P. Order. Okay, so that one's probably going to be a pretty big number here. Okay, that one's just big number, so we'll just go like that. Actually, I should go to 3 decimals, I guess. All right, number 6, factorials. So the rule is to expand the bigger one. So that's that. And I'm going to go all the way to hit a 79. So 81 times 80 times 79 and beyond. Okay, do you notice where my factorial marks are? Okay, the exclamation marks. Make sure you get those in the right spots. So basically you're saying 79 and everything below it, 79, everything below it would cancel. Okay, don't worry, I put something on your test that you can't calculate with your calculator, because if you just try to do this on your calculator, it's not going to work because it's just such a big number, your calculator can't handle it. Okay. Number 7, same idea. So expand the bigger one, which would be that. So 12 times 11, 10, 9, 8, and beyond. So I stopped there because I knew it was going to cancel with that one. But I think we should still expand the 4 factorial, right? So 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that would cancel. I think I could just cancel stuff here as well, right? Look at that. That's a 12, and then 4 and 3 is also a 12. Can we go the 10 and the 2 and cancel that too? So a 2, and this becomes a 5. So I think that's all I have left. Yeah, like as long as you've showed me all your steps, I'm actually not caring if you use your calculator or not. I'm just saying don't just type this into your calculator like that. Okay, in this binomial expansion, you want to find the 4th term. So then n is, so what do we put here and what do we put here? So okay, so what would we put here? 11, because that's the exponent. Choose what? If you're going to try to go after the fourth term, then this would be a 3. Because the first term starts like that, the second term, third term, fourth term. So 1 less because of that 0. You starting counting at 0 screws up the pattern of the number, right? Once you're done expanding this whole thing, how many terms would there be at the end? How many terms would that produce altogether? 12. Okay, it's always 1 more because the first term was 0, so that adds an extra. Okay, number 9. Expand the bigger one. So that would be the top gets expanded. So n plus 2 going down 1, down 1, down 1, and then I think I can stop. Okay, so notice on this one especially where your factorials are and where they aren't. Okay, so this factorial would cancel that. N plus 1. So when I simplify, I have to write my final answer. N squared plus 2n. Okay, that's what simplify means. Side note, let's say I put something like this on your test. Which one of those would you start expanding? Which one of those is a larger number? This one, because when you go down, right, it's like that. Okay, so just remember with negatives, sometimes it kind of messes up your mind which one's larger, so be careful with that. Okay, in this expansion, which row in Pascal's triangle would correspond to this expansion? So if we were to do this, let's go with a Pascal's triangle. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. What's next? 1, 3, 3, 1. 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Are any of these yet the matching one? How am I going to know when I hit it? How many terms would I have? I need 7 terms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one would have 6. So that one would match. It has the 7 terms. By the way, this is like 6, choose 1, right? 6, choose 0. 6, choose 2. Okay, so this like always matches the exponent really, right? Okay, write the next row in the Pascal's triangle. If I gave you this one, what's the next row? Okay, so it'd be 1, 8, 28. What's this one? 56, 70, and then it kind of just mirrors, right? Okay, everyone's good with the Pascal's triangle patterns? Just adding. Okay. Use Pascal's triangle to determine all the terms for this expansion. Okay, so we need our coefficients. So I don't know if you would like to do 5, choose 0, 5, choose 1. If you want, you can do all of these numbers if you feel like that's going to be faster, or you could draw your triangle. So whatever method you wanted to do, they would both give you so you could go to the triangle to get that, or you could go 5 chooses. If you went 5 choose 1, like you would have to tell me that that's 5. Okay, so we're going to expand this whole thing. I'm going to leave some spaces here. I'm running out of room. Okay, I'm going to expand these 6 terms. Those are my coefficients. Okay, what's going to go on with my variables? So on this first one, I have x5, no y's. Here's why. Because that would be the part of the formula. And then here's my units. This unit gets the 0, this unit gets the subtraction, right? That's what I'm doing with the formula. So this one I go down an x, up a y. Okay, keep going in that pattern. Down an x, up a y. And there we go, we expanded it. So please don't do that one by hand. That might take you all day if you try to do it. What would change if I put a subtract sign in there? What would change? This would be plus, this would stay, this would be subtract, plus, subtract, plus, subtract. Okay? Careful if there's a negative in there. Okay. If we expanded this, what's the 4th term? Okay, so what choose what? It's the first part of this formula. So the exponent 7, and find the 4th term means that I'm going to be choosing 3. Because the first term was choose 0, choose 1, choose 2, choose 3. 2x, 3m cubed. Those are the units of each. So I always go like this first. This one matches. So that's a 3. And then how do I get the inside? Subtract. 7 subtract 3. Okay, so the rest is some calculator stuff. 7 choose 3 in my calculator. Okay, be careful making sure that we're doing 2 to the 4th. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 16 x to the 4th. You're also going to have to do 3 cubed on that one. So 27 m to the 9th. Okay, and then simplify all the 3 together. Okay, number 3. Which term contains an x to the 13th? Okay, so on this one, I'm going to just do the x stuff. That's the strategy here. We're just doing the x stuff. So how did I get an x to the 13th? I took the x's from the first unit and the x's from the second unit, but I'm going to make that look different. How do I make the x's from the second unit look different? Okay, -3, does that work? And which term, so I don't know that. I also don't really know this, but what could I write here? So this one always matches this, and this one is always the subtraction, right? Okay, the exponents will have to equal each other. If you're okay if I drop the x part off now, you can keep it going for a while, but eventually I'm going to have a base of x. So the exponent 13 has to equal the exponent. So what do I do here? This would be multiply. So 48 minus 4k. And then I would, since those are multiplied, I would add, and then I'd have to obviously like multiply that. Okay, so 13 subtract 48. Okay, now that's not my answer. I'm asking you which term. So if this k part was 5, it's because it's the 6th term, right? That k is always one lower. Find the first term. Okay, so when we're finding the first term, choose what? 12, choose 0, right? The first term starts at 0. So here's my first unit. Here's my second unit. Do you notice how this one has a negative on it? So be careful on the test. Right? If it's a negative. So this exponent is 0 over there. And this is the subtraction exponent. Okay, so there's actually some simple parts here because 12 choose 0 is just 1. And on here, anything to the 0 is 1. So I just need to do that part. So 3 to the 12th. Okay, number 4. You're going to seat 5 boys, 5 girls in a row. How many ways can this be done if they want to A, sit as couples? Okay, so there's my 10 people. They want to sit together as couples. So I'm going to circle them together like that. How many different groups could I be rearranging now? How many groups can I rearrange? So now I only have 5 groups to rearrange.
I'm not choose this way. No.
Okay, then what could these 2 people do inside their own self? They could move around 2 factorial. What about inside this group? They could also switch around. Okay, so could this, so could this, so could this, or that would be the way I would do that shorter. Okay, can you get me a number on that? See if you can type that in properly, that it works. So I will have a test on there, or a question on your test that has that concept. Arranging groups, then arranging within the groups. Okay, boys and the girls want to alternate, so here's my 10. Here's my 10 people. Okay, I'm going to put somebody into the first position. So, how many options do I have on my first blank? I have 10. I could put anybody there. Now, on the second option, I only have 5 because pretend I put a boy there. Now this person would have to be a girl. So I only have 5. Then I'd go back to a boy. So how many boys do I have left? And then a girl. Okay? I'm okay if you type it like that. If you want to know a shorter cut, then the boys could be 5 factorial, the girls could be 5 factorial, but you have 2 ways you could have started. Okay, I'm going to give you a third question because I have something on the test that is something like this. You have to put a boy on each end. You must put a boy on each end of your seating arrangement. Okay, so let's look at the ends. First of all, I'm going to go here. How many options do I have to put somebody on this chair? 5, because I have to put a boy, so I have 5 boys to choose from. Okay, go to the other end. How many options of people do you have now? 4, because you have to put a boy, but you already put about 1 down. Then, does anything else matter? Nope. So I'm left with how many people to go? 8. So that's what I would do. So 5 times 4 times 8 factorial on that one. Okay, so yes, you're going to have something like that on your test. So. Okay. You have 6 girls and 6 boys that want to sit in a row. How many arrangements if Will and Kate want to sit beside each other? Okay, so I had 12 people, and then Will and Kate choose that they have to sit beside each other. So here's my question for you. How many groups are you arranging now? There was 12, but now Will and Kate got tied together, so they're actually considered one. So now does this make sense? You have 11, because you have the 10 single people and then the group of the two. Then what? Within Will and Kate, what could they do? They could move around themselves. Okay, Will and Kate don't want to sit beside each other. What's the game plan here when you see a question like this now? What should your strategy be? If they don't want to sit beside each other, your strategy would be to do all minus opposite. Okay, so what's the all? If there was just no restrictions and you could make arrangements with everybody, what would you do? 12 factorial. You're just moving 12 people around. Don't matter where they are. So the opposite, if they don't want to sit beside each other, we just did the opposite. The opposite of not sitting beside each other is sitting beside each other. Okay, so there'll be one question on your test like that where you're going to have to use that all minus opposite strategy. Okay, number 6. You're trying to get a committee, 4 girls, 2 boys, and your possible is that you have 12 girls and 4 boys. How many committees are possible? So we need to choose 4 girls from a possible 12. And, so you're going to multiply. You're going to also choose 2 boys out of the 9 boys that there are. Okay, letter B. How many possible committees could you make if Andrew or Jesslyn needs to be on the committee, but not both of them? Okay, so this one is different scenarios. You could have Andrew on, which would mean Jess is off, or Jess is on, Andrew would be off of that committee. So those are the scenarios that could happen. Okay. So we have to use our criteria still with all of 4, 2. Okay, so if Andrew's on, you don't really need to write this, but I will show you that Andrew is on there. Okay, I need, that's a boy, so I need one more boy. I need one more boy. So I'm going to choose one more boy. How many boys would I have to pick from here? 8, because I don't have 9 anymore, because Andrew's not involved with this anymore. So I have 8. Okay, so I still need to choose 4 girls yet. I still need 4 girls on my committee. But Jess is not allowed to be on there. So instead of 12, I only have 11. Or, so these are not happening at the same time. It was either that or that. So now I add. If Jess is on, so Jess is on there, which would mean I still need 3 girls on my committee. So I would need 1 more girl. And now I only have 11 girls to pick. And I would still need 2 boys. And I can't pick Andrew, so the 9 turns into an 8. Okay, just for time's sake, am I okay just to say you guys will be able to finish that on your own, right? Okay. Because I think that there's a question I don't see anywhere, because one would be on your test. A committee of 6, at least 4 girls. If you have to make a committee of 6 and you have to have at least 4 girls, what would you do? How would you do a question like this? So you have to have a committee of 6 and there has to be at least 4 girls on there. So this is a scenario, right? We could have 4 girls, or what else could have been possible? 5 girls, or 6 girls. So when you see that word at least, it's not just 4, you have to do at least 4. So if I did 4 girls, then I'm going to go 12, choose 4. And what else would I need on that committee? If there was 4 girls, I would still need 2 boys. Or, so I would add. So if there's 5 girls, I would 12 choose 5. And if I had 5 girls, I would still need 1 boy. Or if there was 6 girls, 12 choose 6. Okay? And you technically could have wrote this, but you don't need to write it, that you're picking 0 boys, but you don't really need to write that. Okay, and again, you would have to get a number on that, but for time's sake, I'll leave it there. Okay, number 7. So here you would need your formula sheet. Okay, so I'll have these formulas on your test. So this is that formula. So n factorial. R factorial is the 2 factorial. And then n minus r would be n minus 2 factorial. Okay, so that was me just looking at a formula. Okay, so once I see factorials, I'm going to expand. So I'm going to expand the bigger. So that's that one. So n minus 1, n minus 2. Two factorial is just the number 2. Okay, now I'm going to multiply those 2 together, so n squared minus n. And then, are you okay seeing that I'm gonna multiply by 2, and then that's gonna be gone, and that's gonna be a 56. Okay, and then your pros at this, when you see stuff, you're gonna zero it and factor it, right? So 7 and 8. Okay, so when I look at this answer, 8 choose 2. Well, that makes sense. -7 choose 2. No, that's not going to be possible. Okay, what do you think? Do I need 8? Are we kind of okay? I think we've done a few factorial-y stuff. Are we good? Or anybody feel really passionate about me doing that? Okay, then let's just look at 9 maybe. 5 boys and girls are seated. How many arrangements? If Brennan, Will, and Delicia all want to sit in a group. So there's 10 people, and 3 of them are sitting together. So, how many different groups am I now arranging around? How many groups would you move around now? 8 groups? Then what could happen within their own group? Okay, and again, we've had enough practice today with that, so I'll just, obviously you can get that answered. Okay, what if, okay, let's do one more of these. I think we kind of did one. So if the girls had to sit on the 2 seats at either end. So if the girls had to sit on those 2 seats, what would you do again? So this would be 5, this would be 4, and then there's just other people, and you don't care where they sit, so I'm left with 8 people. Oh, there's another page. I thought I was done. Okay, almost done now. Find the value of n if the 7th term equals that. Okay. So term 7. Okay, maybe, let's go. So, no, I can't do this yet. Okay, so I can't do this, so now I'm going to go with the strategy to do only X stuff.
Wait, how do we,
Right?
why can't we do that and why are we using X's?
Because I don't think I can do this because I don't know this. Right? And I don't know that. There's too many things I don't know because I don't know that. and I don't know that. So I can't do it because I don't know that and I don't know that. Okay, so I'm going to only use x stuff. So if I got an x to the 6th, how did I get an x to the 6th? It came from x fourths in that, x negative 3s in that. It told me this was the 7th term, so this would be a 6. And then this would be an n minus 6. Okay, so just exponents. 6 equals 4n minus 24 minus 18. Those are just the exponents, right? 4n minus 24 and a negative 18. So 48 equals 4n. So that would have had an exponent of 12 on it then. So basically, when they gave you the whole term, that was irrelevant information. I didn't really need that. But this one I will. In this expansion, the 7th term is that solve for the value of b. Okay, so this one we're going to take all the information. Okay, 7th term. So what choose what? What choose what? 9 choose 6. bx5, 2x negative 2. Those are my units. So the outside would have a 6, the inside would have a 3. Okay, 9c6, that's 84. Times. I don't know b, but I do know that b would have to get cubed, right? X to the 15th. 2 to the 6th, that's 64. Okay, I'm going to put my coefficients, those 3 coefficients together. So that is going to be 5376b cubed x cubed. Okay, so x cubed, I'm going to scratch them off because they're going to cancel. I'm going to divide both sides. Okay, how do I get b alone? I cubed root it. Or you could probably think of this in your head. What times what is going to make negative 27?